Interim podcast alert. Interim podcast alert.
Is this the triumphant return of after work drinks? After
It is. You're absolutely right. Do you remember after work drinks, love?
No. That's why I brought it
That's
up.
why you're bringing it up. So right at the beginning of the podcast, we did sort of TV and film reviews, and then there was nothing else going on because we were in the midst of a pandemic. So we created an extra episode called After Work Drinks, which was essentially us after, in inverted commas, work, because we were just both in the house there doing various things, sitting down together, having a drink and discussing what was happening, which, funnily enough, at the time really wasn't very much. So I can't really remember what we talked about, but it became quite a fun thing to do.
Our last one was September 2021.
There we go.
So 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
And
I
it was
cannot believe that.
The top 5 films we're looking forward to for the rest of 2021.
That's amazing.
Anyway, cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah. So we are going to do some trailer talk because we've had some illness in the house. We've got the ridiculousness of Friends coming to stay. And we've just had loads of things happening, which has meant that you've been to see some films and I haven't. And I've seen lots of television that you haven't. So we're trying to catch up with each other because we much prefer it when we're able to rip apart each other's opinions on things.
But first, there's some news that's broken today.
Yeah, you said this to me. Like, I was all ready to go with my trailers, which has thrown me off somewhat.
Yes, on the way home tonight, Marvel have announced who their Fantastic Four are.
Am I really bothered about this? I'm not sure I am.
Oh, honey.
Why are you looking disappointed in me?
Because this is big. This is the last chance that the MCU has.
Is it big?
It's the last character they've got in the back pocket that's got any sort of recognition value.
They've done Fantastic Four to death.
Yes, but it's all been shit.
Isn't it going to be shit again?
I actually don't mind the original two.
I don't mind the original one. The one with
Ian Griffith,
Ewan
Jessica
Griffith,
Alba.
I think it's.
I'm never confident saying that name.
Okay. Yeah, Jessica Alba. Chris Evans,
yeah.
and the fella who played the Thing.
Yeah, the guy from The Shield.
That's it.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad, was it? For what it was, at the time.
It was more kid skewing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The big problem with me was that they absolutely burned one of the big baddies from the Marvel universe in
What do you mean?
Galactus.
Oh, okay. Right.
Like it wasn't Galactus that they introduced. It was.
Well, it was Doctor Doom.
Yeah, but in the second one they had Galactus.
Oh,
Rise
okay.
of the Silver Surfers,
Right.
who is one of the huge battle. Like he's 100 foot tall. He can.
His name suggests that.
Yes.
He sounds like the sort of person that would either be in wrestling or on Gladiators. Galactus.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Well, there we go.
Nick Aldis, the GM of SmackDown, was in the anyway.
Do you see how I really don't care who these people are?
I think you might when you hear who they are. I think they've got a really good cast.
Okay, go on then.
So Mr. Fantastic, whose powers is he's a Stretch Armstrong, is Pedro Pascal.
Right.
Which
Is he a bit old?
Well,
Aren't they meant to be young people?
no.
Oh.
No.
He's much older than I anticipated for the Fantastic
I mean, he's
Four.
older than your man Goose's son
Okay.
from the
Miles-
remake,
Miles
Teller.
Teller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought, hang on, he's been in the MCU before now, but he's been in everything but. I think he's been in
Okay.
Game of Thrones. He's been in the DC universe
Right.
in that
He's obviously
abomination
Star
of
Wars.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Invisible Woman
Yeah.
is
Jessica Alba.
no Vanessa Kirby.
Okay. Right. Interesting. Because they're meant to be siblings, aren't they?
I
No,
thought they were-
no, they're not. It's Johnny. It's Sue Storm. And
Don't know why you've been watching your
Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
but-
sorry. Yes, that's right. Sue Storm and Johnny Storm. Sorry, I knew there were siblings in there. I've just got it the wrong way around.
The Thing is going to be played by Ebon Moss-Bachrach.
Where would I know them from?
So he is the other guy in The Bear. He is
Not seen the bear.
Okay. He's the annoying boyfriend Desi in Girls.
Not seen Girls. So I don't know him.
You will know him back to look at.
Okay.
Let me find.
Do you think the general public would know him? You know, on
yes,
the same level
because
as Pedro
everyone
Pascal?
who's not you with your little issues has watched The Bear.
Has watched The Bear. Okay, fair enough. And who's going to be Johnny Storm flying through the air, Chris Evans?
Well, this is what I think you might be most interested in.
Okay.
It is Joseph Quinn.
Oh, Stranger Things, Joseph Quinn.
Yes.
That's interesting casting, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
And again, is he... I'm just thinking age-wise with Vanessa Kirby, maybe they are around about the same age. I think she skews slightly older because a lot of the people that she plays...
Ebon Moss-Bacharach, picture showing
you're showing me not... Yeah, okay, you're showing me him. I don't know who he is, and I've not seen him before.
He was actually in... Remember the Punisher TV show?
No.
Remember the Punisher?
Going well. Yes, I do remember the Punisher. The Punisher with the fella that was from... The Walking Dead.
Yes, and The Bear.
Yeah, okay.
He was in that as
Right.
like his little mate who was like helping him along.
Okay, well that's nice.
But is that canon? Because obviously that was in the same universe as Daredevil. Daredevil is in the MCU now as Charlie Cox. So
Yeah.
different world. That's what they'll probably say.
I'm interested. Joseph Quinn, I'm interested to see in any film because I liked what he did in Stranger Things. I thought he was one of the breakout stars of the last series. I don't need to see him in Fantastic Four. I kind of feel like, I wish he was kind of doing something else. It doesn't make me get all excited for this film. I hope it does really well. Like, I'm going to take my cynical hat off. I hope it does really, really well. I hope it's a really good film because things have not been going well in
If
that
I'd have
arena.
said Jake Johnson, Oliver Platt,
Yes.
I can't try and think who else you.
Maybe a bit of Kiefer Sutherland in there.
The guy from Cormorant Strike.
That's totally right. And then maybe Dame Glenda Jackson.
And Tim Wheeler as
Sue Storm.
Sue Storm, yeah. You'd still not be bothered, so...
Yeah, I probably would for that. I'd be very happy with that TV show. Right, okay, good. Are you excited? Like, take me out of it. Are you excited about it?
Well, I was, right up until about 5 minutes ago when I've just had it shat upon. But yeah, I feel it's the thing that they've got in their back pocket that I'm interested to see what they do with it. Because...
do we know who's directing?
Yeah, that's been announced a long time ago. Let me just look that up. It's so well known that I'm going to have to look that up now. Yeah, it's Matt Shackman, who is behind, most recently, WandaVision.
Okay. Oh, right, okay. That makes me more excited.
Okay, that's good.
Because I loved WandaVision.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, he's also... Just wait, he was also behind Heroes Reborn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he was directed a few episodes of that. But yeah,
well, we'll let him off.
Yeah, it's a good sign. Yeah, it's just the interesting thing is, so they've released this information with a illustration of them as the Fantastic Four in a very 60s environment.
Okay.
So it might be that it's a period piece. It might be
Right.
that they are brought in a different way. I can't quite work it out, but
Okay.
yeah, people have the thing is looking at a copy of Time magazine that people have dated to 1963.
And it looks like there's like an astronaut in the sort of 60s astronaut costume. You know, the big white.
Yeah, I
thing.
think that's meant to be the thing. Like, 'cause that looks
Oh,
like
right, okay.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think astronauts don't wear those big white costumes now, but do you know what I mean? It's stylized in that sort of Buzz Aldrin style.
It's really nice though.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
shall we talk about some trailers?
Let's talk about some trailers. We're going to talk about the film trailers first. We're going to cover some of the trailers that were from the Super Bowl. Not all of them, because there were many, but 3 of sort of the big ones that came out. So we're going to talk about Deadpool 3, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So many times today I've thought I'm going to say Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I didn't. And then we're going to finish off with
Wicked.
Wicked.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, okay. It's been a challenging few years, for sure. But I'm happy. That is because of each and every one of you. I'm the luckiest man alive.
Make a wish, buddy.
Wade Wilson?
Who's asking? Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that supposed to be scary? Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Deadpool 3, otherwise known as Deadpool and Wolverine.
So, are you excited about this, having proven that you're not in any way excited about Fantastic Four?
You know what? I wasn't at all until I saw the and Wolverine. The and Wolverine really cemented it for me.
But you knew that it was going to be in it.
I don't think I did, love.
We went through the trailer. I made you watch the trailer, and yeah. And it sounds bad when I say made you watch the trailer. You've met Elaine, most people. You know, like you've spent time with her. She will not watch something if just out of
Yes.
yeah.
Just because someone says, please watch it.
Yes.
I think it just, everything had kind of got a bit screwed up in my head. But now I sort of see how it works. Yeah, I'm a bit more excited because I love Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I'm interested in all of the meta commentary around the cinematic universe. You know, Deadpool in the trailer even says, you know, he even uses the word cinematic universe, which I think is quite interesting.
Yeah.
And I can see that there's links to the TVA, which I've seen in Loki.
Yes.
So little things that even I, as someone who doesn't know much about it, can get, means that there must be loads for people who are really into this stuff. So yeah, I'm more intrigued. I'm not a big fan of sort of gross humour, if that makes sense. So saying like swearing for comedy effect can be
Bollocks.
funny. Can be funny.
See?
But yeah, when you do it, but when it's just like done for just doing its sake, I don't particularly find anything satirical about it or humorous.
I think you've done Deadpool a bit of a disservice there. I think it's cleverer than that.
Yes, I'm sure it is. It just hasn't drawn me. So I saw the first one, it was fine, but it didn't draw me back to the second one.
Have you never seen the second one?
No, I've never seen the second one.
Look, I mean, I'm excited. It's the only MCU film that we're getting this year. I mean, I've been down on the MCU pretty much for the past year, but at least this is kind of like a amuse-bouche. It's not going to be storyline heavy. It's not going to be. It's just going to be like wet your whistle for what's coming in 2025.
Yeah.
And Laura laughed when he did it. I mean, I've got a man crush on Ryan Reynolds and have done for a long time, ever since Two Girls, a Guy in a Pizza Place. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. I've never heard of that in my life.
It's a TV show.
Really?
Yes.
No, I've never heard of that.
It
But
was-
you're very good at your sort of like American comedy, drama, high school, sort of like that sort of thing that everyone else was watching on T4 or whatever, and I just wasn't.
This was on Trouble, I think.
That's it. There we go. See? I was nearly there.
I'm just going to see if it was actually. Yeah. Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place. I'm seeing who's in it. Yeah. Yes. Ryan Reynolds. And Van Wilder and things
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. And he's a great actor for Deadpool and who Deadpool needs to be. The comedic faces, the action, the asides to the audience, a lot of breaking the fourth wall. It just works for him, so I'm happy.
Are you familiar with the concept of evolution? In their time, humans were capable of many great things. Noah! They could fly like eagles fly. They could speak across oceans. But now it is our time. And it is my kingdom. We will learn. Apes will learn. I will learn. And I will conquer.
Kingdom of the
See, it's not just me, is it?
I never know which one's the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which one's the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which one's the War of the Planet of the Apes.
War for the Planet of the Apes was the third one, and I only know that because I've looked that up because I just wanted to get it right.
Is Rise the first one?
I don't know. I haven't seen. You would think it would be Rise before Dawn, but it might be the other way around. I think people have pointed that out anyway. There were the three of them. It surrounded Caesar, and it took you from Caesar being an ape that was used for experimentation to then being ultra intelligent and getting the other apes to be intelligent as well and releasing them and then taking over the planet and various conflicts with humans. This fourth installment is set 300 years after Caesar.
But a lot of the apes look the same as the ones that I've seen in.
Yeah.
Probably played by the same makeup artists.
I think some are, but not all. Not all. Andy Serkis isn't in this one, as far as I'm aware.
And that's the only one anyone cares about, apparently.
Exactly. But I think they do. I think they're probably meant to be relatives of the players that we've seen before, but it is meant to be set. Well, it is set 300 years after. And what's happened here now, I think we're running much more closer to the original Planet of the Apes as the narrative was there, which is the planet overcome by intelligent apes, and the humans are all the technology's been taken away from them. I think they're sort of non-speaking, so speech and language has gone, and they are essentially being rounded up by these ultra intelligent and ruling the world apes. That's where we're getting to now, I think.
See, I always thought that the original three were more a prequel than a reboot, and I don't think I need to be going back to someone travelling through time and get your balls off me, you dirty ape.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it is. What I'm saying is, I think it's starting to become much more familiar. So one of the characters in this fourth installment is called Nova, and there was a character called Nova in the original Charlton Heston film, for example. I think they're taking bits of the earlier films, and obviously there's so much around Planet of the Apes, isn't there? You've got the Tim Burton version as well, so you've got loads of different
I choose not
things
to acknowledge
around. But I think they're starting to get more towards that simple premise, which was you come to a planet, or there is a planet of apes, and the humans are very much the people who are being captured and are being treated like animals. What I really like, I know you're laughing at me.
You have this planet
of
apes.
Oh no. What I really like about the Planet of the Apes films just generally is how they reflect back on our own society. And I can see in this trailer there's imagery in there that really reflects wars and conflicts that are happening, and sort of cultural moments in our own history and today. And I like that. I like the way that it makes me reflect on how we treat other people, how we treat animals, how we have dividing lines between race, religion, minority group, all these sort of things where we other things, and we say, well, we don't want to be like them, or this is our group. I like that political nod that the Planet of the Apes has. I'm not sure you're as much as interested in this as I am.
I think I'm going to struggle without a human central storyline, to be perfectly honest, which it feels like the film G-Force, if you remember that.
Oh, what with guinea pigs?
Talking guinea pigs rather than... from what I've seen on the trailer, like, it just looks like... Is it Richard Morris who did the animals that talked?
Richard Morris?
Oh, right. No, you're not going to get this.
No.
People who listen of a certain age will understand this, yeah. Like, there was a guy who may or may not have been called Richard Morris who did this thing of animals. Yeah, like, just animals, like, with noises, like, over them, like, pretending they were talking.
Do you mean, like, those adverts?
Not Creature Comforts. No, I knew that was where you were going.
You don't mean Aardman Animation?
No. His name probably wasn't Richard Morris.
Okay.
Desmond Morris, maybe? I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not convinced by the.
Were you like that with the other films though? Because it's very similar. The
No, because there was
technology.
always a human central performance around that.
Okay.
And I think
I think the central performance was Andy Serkis, but we might have to agree to disagree.
well, for the first film, they hardly
James
spoke.
Franco.
They hardly spoke at all.
Yeah, but what I mean, as you get into the films, it does become Caesar's story.
I am watching this, and my spidey senses are saying probably something up there.
Okay.
It is Desmond Morris.
Okay.
Richard Morris is the former ambassador to Nepal,
Brilliant.
who I'm pretty sure it's not. But yeah, I'm not sure about this. I'll go see it because I've enjoyed the other ones. Sometimes in spite of myself. In the case of the first film, in spite of a group of kids behind me, where one of them had seen it and so was trying to show off to his mates by telling them what was happening. And a dad who was really annoyed at this kid who clearly wasn't his own. You need to stop talking now.
Yeah, I would have said something more than that.
The best way to bring folks together
Something has changed within me.
is to give them a real good enemy.
You're green. I am. Something is not the same. Something just takes over me. And when it does, bad things happen.
Once you learn to harness your emotions, the sky's the limit.
Bring her to me.
Don't be afraid. I'm not afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
And Wicked.
Musical, but you wouldn't know it. Oh dear! Oh, you've had a very strong reaction to this. Out of all of them, I didn't think Wicked would be the strongest reaction you would have to a trailer. And you're clicking your fingers as well, and sort of making little tapping noises.
I've never seen Wicked.
Yes, the Broadway musical, well, West End musical.
I am planning on going to see it when it comes to Sunderland in the August.
Yes.
I haven't bought tickets yet, so apologies, Neil, if you're listening. I know I said I would, and it's on for 2 weeks. We'll get some. It'll be fine. But fucking hell, they love the CGI in this, don't they?
They do. Do you know that they built, and it was in Britain, they built sort of an emerald city. So if you can go back and you have a look online, that they made this amazing set, you know, with during the trailer you see them like coming on a gondola and there's sort of water and everything. So they did build a physical set.
Why does it look so shit then?
But for me, knowing that, you can clearly see where all of the walls, all of the sky, you know, everything is so CGI. And I wonder whether it's purposefully done that way, because this is clearly fantasy. We're in Oz. There are green characters. Do you know what I mean? They've just gone, you know what? We're just going to go all out. Big, colourful, fantasy. Nothing is real.
Yes.
And I don't know. I kind of liked it. Because I sort of went, okay, if that's what we're doing,
I didn't.
We'll do it that way. It is very different from the show. I have to say, I am not sold on the casting, and part of that will come from the bias I have having seen the show in the West End. That was many, many years ago. It was actually when it was not originally out, but it was very soon after it had come out, and they were just starting to bring new people in, so a new Galinda. For example, I think the Galinda had just been in for a couple of weeks, and it was like really exciting because the old one and there was someone new, and it was at a time as well in the West End where there weren't these mega star performances, and the shows that had been on were more sort of the Lloyd Webbers, and so this was something totally new. It was actually in a theatre I hadn't been to before as well, and it just felt big and exciting and new. And I think I just haven't been able to get over my view of what the characters should be like. because the people playing those characters, when I saw them, were much younger. Well, Elphaba was much younger than Cynthia Erivo. And it might have been the same age as Ariana Grande for Galinda. I don't know how old Ariana Grande is, but I think she's a bit younger. They are meant to be going to like a college or a school. I just don't believe that either of them are meeting for the first time.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think I'm finding it harder than, let's say, Grease, to believe, because I've seen it on the stage and I've seen sort of like the young and beautiful of the stage in front of me, where I can clearly see how old they are. And I wonder whether a lot of the work that they've done on the faces of the actors as well has sort of made me go a bit like, oh, they look really ironed out because they're older. I don't know. I'm just not quite sold on the casting, and I'm not sold. There's a note at the end of the trailer, which is like the big note from Defying Gravity. I am not sold on that note whatsoever. I found it like took me massively out of the trailer, and I just thought, oh, that's just not quite what I was anticipating. It's really hard because it's such a snapshot of it. It's not going into the music at all, which I find really, really strange. And this is only part one.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, they've done they've not done the Mission Impossible, have they?
No, I just, there's something that just isn't quite clicking for me, and I really wish it well, and I want it to be great, and I want to be like, I want all my sort of my bias from the stage show to go away. I think when you see something on stage, it's a bit like when you read a book and then you watch the film and you go, oh, it isn't the same. And I think that's what I've got clinging on to me is, you know, the early to mid 2000s when I saw this, clinging on to that, and then seeing this and going, oh, it isn't the same, is it? So I really hope it's better than I think it. I mean, this cast, the other cat, Michelle Yeoh, you've got The Fly, Jeff Goldblum. Other people, you've got big names, and obviously the cast are great. Like, these people are brilliant. I'm just not quite sure they're the Galinda and Elphaba in my head because I saw it on stage.
I'll try watching Wicked.
What, the show or the?
Oh, it was a reference to, I think I'll try Defying Gravity. Is that not the lyrics?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
I think it was just so subtle that even if you weren't me, you wouldn't get that.
Oh, well.
Okay. You try Defying Wicked, maybe. That would be better.
I don't want to defy Wicked.
Okay.
What?
I'll try Defying the trailer.
No, but I've seen the TV trailers.
I was born with a chance to be somebody. I'm gonna be the most famous man in the whole world.
Mr. President, the Confederacy is dead. The Union is saved. The war is over.
Freedom for the South!
I knew nothing about Manhunt until our friend Chris, hello Chris, sent me the link to the Manhunt trailer, and I immediately thought of you because this is historical fiction, but historical fiction in terms of an event that I know you've talked about, because this is the assassination of Abraham Lincoln by John Wilkes Booth, the actor.
Yes, yeah.
And you've spoken to me about this before.
Yeah, there's an episode of the podcast The Memory Palace, which is a really, really lovely podcast. It's normally about 5 to 10 minutes long, and they're just little slices of history that it's talked about. And in there, it talks about how John Wilkes Booth was part of an acting family, and is, he goes into it. It's like if Stephen Baldwin shot the president in 1990 when Alec Baldwin was considered one of the best actors in Hollywood. And it goes into what happened to John Wilkes Booth's brother afterwards. Yeah, I found that a really fascinating story. not sure that I'm...
Oh no, there's a big but. There's a big but.
I mean, spoilers for what's coming up. You've not picked the most diverse array of trailers here, have you?
That is true. We have gone historical fiction all the way, and I think that...
And if there's one thing that I fucking will guarantee to watch, it's historical fiction.
I know.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, I did realise that, but these are the shows that are coming out soon that I really wanted to talk about. Is the honest truth. But
I'm just going to play on my phone, so you just give me a nudge.
Manhunt was not one that I knew, though, Hannah. Manhunt was not one that I knew. So it's kind of dropped in by sort of circumstance. And they are calling it a conspiracy thriller. This is an Apple TV show, Apple Plus. Is it Apple Plus? Is that right?
Apple TV Plus.
Apple TV Plus. And it's coming out in the sort of next few weeks. Actually, it's March the 15th. So yeah, in a couple of weeks' time. And it's got some really good people in it. It's got Tobias Menzies, as he flashes up on the screen, Emmy Award nominee Tobias Menzies, who you know most from
Game of Thrones.
And I know most from Game of Thrones, and also he plays Prince Philip in The Crown. And then you've got the guy playing John Wilkes Booth, who we will talk about again in another trailer coming up shortly, is a guy called Anthony Boyle. And you've got lots of other people in here, including Patton Oswalt, who you laughed at when he came up on the screen because he had a great big beard.
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, because it's Patton Oswalt.
But they are... Apple are calling this a conspiracy thriller rather than historical fiction. I can kind of see why, because this is, you're looking at who assassinated him, why they assassinated him, what's going on politically at that time around Lincoln, and now that Lincoln's gone, and then this, as the title of the show suggests, this manhunt for Wilkes Booth and who was helping him, I know nothing about this. Like, I know so little about American politics. It's like, I really feel quite shameful about it, because the only time I ever used to pay any attention to America was when in The Madness of King George, in that film, at a certain point in that they talk about the Americas, and I was like, oh, is that like when they're losing, like where it's not British anymore? Like, I really didn't understand
You'll be back.
history. Yeah, exactly that. So I just knew nothing about it, because it just, that period of history just never sat with me. I was always so much more in the Tudor times and the Stuarts, which funnily enough we might come up with in a few moments. So I want to learn. I want to know more about this, and I know from you telling me about him being an actor, and then the Baldwin connection. Well, not connection, but that Baldwin. It's not a connection. I was about to say connection is not the right word, but that comparison with the Baldwins, I thought, all right, let's. And I think it looks really good. Are you not taken with it, or is it just that historical fiction just puts you off?
I mean, there is absolutely nothing that draws me to watch this. Like, it's not my thing. Mm. It is Fantastic Four times 4. So Fantastic 16.
Is this going to carry on throughout the rest of the trailer chat?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I will not be watching any of these TV shows, but I'll at least put up a good. I'll try and sound a bit enthused for now, and then you can cover them on the podcast when they come out.
On to Mary and George for all you Stuart fans.
I do not own my home. My children are unwed. We have nothing.
If this became known, your position in society would become untenable.
My son. Change does not come unless you grab it by the hand. King James. So cockstruck, it's like a curse. Give the king whatever he wants.
May I perform for you?
He will be yours, mine, ours.
I have the power, I have the king, I have England.
What could possibly stop us now?
Do be careful.
You're a whole dark brood, a lot of it.
My family is perfect.
Was that a joke?
No. Please continue.
Who dressed you? A prostitute?
I
glad you have one. And look, even your phlegm is off colour. Enjoy the show, won't you, done?
That boy, how far will he go? There's nothing you wouldn't do.
I was raised by a monster.
Only children believe in monsters.
So Mary and George, as I've already alluded to, is set in the period of the Stuarts, which comes directly after the Tudors. So we're looking at King James I of England, or the 6th of Scotland, and the 6th of Scotland. This is based on a book called The King's Assassin by Benjamin Woolley that came out a few years ago. It's starring Julianne Moore as the Countess of Buckingham, who is moulding her son, and you can see that in the trailer, to seduce James I. And there, I really actually love the aesthetic of the trailer. I think it's set up where there's lots of court intrigue. There seem to be multiple LGBTQ plus storylines going on as well. There's just this fabulous soundtrack as well, this thriving, really dark and dirty soundtrack, and there's just a huge amount of sex on show here as well, but in a really stylized way. Lots of dancing, lots of movement, lots of people in the shadows. There's sorry, you can talk in a minute, just 2 seconds. And then there's lots of things like where people are sat around big tables. What I particularly love about it is that there are times in the trailer where you could pause it and it would be like a Stuart portraiture. So if you ever went to the National Portrait Gallery and saw these big, lengthy Stuart portraitures, it just looks like that. So for me, it is an absolute dream. James I was gay. That's very well known in our history, but we've never had anyone go into it and talk about it. I also love Tony Curran, who's being cast as James I. I remember Tony Curran from This Life in 1997, where he played Lenny. And so for me, it really throws me back to that era of watching This Life. So I just really love it. I love the music, I love the tone of it, I love the aesthetic, I love the narrative, I love the fact that we're getting this story of James I and Buckingham. Mark, what did you think?
I mean, it's very Elaine. It's very not me. I mean, I just won't watch it. Like, it's...
Does nothing draw you to it at all? I think they've...
No, it's Mary Antoinette. It's Mary Antoinette with the Stuarts, which is kind of like your dream.
It's my dream, yeah. What I thought was interesting, and just taking away from the fact it's historical fiction and you're not going to watch it, don't you feel that they're really playing up the Succession? I got really strong Succession vibes here. And I think that's interesting, not from the point of view of, I'm talking about the narrative and James I and the history, but from the point of view of, do you think now we're going to see this? We're going to see this idea of family intrigue, because this is all about family, and a mother, however, at the centre of this, in the Countess of Buckingham, manipulating her children. And at one point, the son says, "I was brought up by a monster." And I mean, you can see the parallels, can't you, with Succession?
I don't know who the mother is in all this. I don't know who's who apart from James I.
Okay. But you saw Julianne Moore, and she's the mother.
Is she's the wife of James I?
No, she is the Countess of Buckinghamshire. Buckingham? Countess of Buckingham. So she's a very rich family.
I'm going to ask
she's got
who.
A son.
I'm going to ask who.
So she's a rich woman with a family. And what she's going to do is she's going to get her son to seduce the king so that they can be close to the crown.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I understood that. I thought she was Mary one.
Oh, really?
Because, I assumed that she was Mary. And then I thought the woman...
She's long dead at this point.
Well... Yeah. I mean, now I think about it, Elizabeth was around for a while, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And then, Does Nicola Walker
Yes.
play Elizabeth in this?
No.
She's got Elizabeth's hair.
I think they all kind of have Elizabeth's hair at various points, or sort of going into the Stuart.
So
range
is this
of it.
taken at the time when James I would have been on the throne?
Yeah. This is it. This is when he's king.
I mean,
so they're wanting to be close to the crown.
I've got like the last bit of me that might be interested has just gone out the window. Yeah, I thought this was like. So I'm sorry. What Succession like?
I was just saying, right, take out all this stuff about it being for me and the fact that you're not gonna watch it. We get that. But isn't it interesting how the trailer's put together? I think it's really skewing into Succession because Succession did so well. So you've got families around a table, you've got people trying to be close to positions of power. There's a lot of political intrigue in this. And like I say, she is called by her son, and I'm brought up by a monster. So you've got that sort of comparison. I'm not saying it is Succession. I'm not trying to sell it to you as Succession. What I'm saying is, don't you find it interesting that the aesthetic that they've gone for in this trailer is linking it? You know, so I'm making links to Succession.
I would not have made that link had
okay.
you not said that.
Okay.
Having said that, I thought that it was I thought it was someone who lived about 70 years before James I, who who was getting involved here, and that
So if you are into your Tudors, your Stuarts, your historical fiction, it comes out on the 5th of March, so not that long to wait.
Big change next.
Yes.
Why, in this house of God, do I smell secrets and fear?
We have no secrets. And with respect, Master Shardlake, it is of you and Lord Cromwell we are afraid.
Master Shardlake, there's news of a death awaits you. A murder. Who is it?
The guilty man must be identified and evidence listed. I am not above the laws of England, Matthew.
Well, no, my lord. As no man should be.
You will not fail me, neither of you. The house must fall.
Robin Singleton was killed by someone here. Someone within St. Donatus.
You're hiding. You're all hiding. Cromwell is your strength, as he is mine. Without him, you're a crookback of no importance.
We are close. Believe me.
Simon, wait! When will you accept that we must find our own truth?
An axe will find your neck!
I will find you. I will discover the truth. And this house will close. He is not the first to be killed.
Well, hurrah and hooray, Master Shardlake.
So, Shardlake.
No.
Set in the Tudor period. Based on the wonderful books by C.J. Sampson. Now, I am not a fiction reader by any stretch of the imagination. I love memoir, I love non-fiction, but I read all of the C.J. Sampson books. They are murder mysteries set in the Tudor period. I mean, it's just amazing. And Shardlake as a character, because Shardlake's our protagonist, he is the man who's going to be finding who did the terrible deeds. I find him really fascinating as well because he is disabled in a period of time where these things were seen as almost curses, and the trailer shows you people crossing themselves when he goes past because he's seen as bad luck or bad fortune, and also will obviously, I mean, if you can think about the discrimination that disabled people have in this day and age, you can imagine the discrimination he was having at the time. But he is a lawyer. He's employed by Thomas Cromwell, played in this adaptation by Sean Bean, yes. And he is going to go into a monastery, which obviously Thomas Cromwell hates monasteries. He wants to shut them down, disillusion of the monasteries. He's going to go into that monastery, and something bad has happened in this monastery, and he's going to find out who committed the murders. I am delighted that this has been adapted because I really hope it brings the books to people. I thought the books were just absolutely fantastic, and I don't really like sort of pretend Tudor time books. I much prefer reading about what actually happened, or as much as we can imagine what actually happened through evidence. But these books really called to me. They really talk about the what happens on the ground around the politics, but also the people who are living in that period, who are living in the towns and sort of getting on with day-to-day life and the king is sort of a figure. And obviously at this point, darling, Henry VIII was on the throne, so Mark is looking at me. He's sort of like off into the distance, so it's not a book about Henry and the court. It's sort of going, circles coming out from that, and the central thing being these murder mysteries. Now, I know that you're not going to watch this. I think you would be abundantly clear, but what did you think of the trailer?
So I'm trying to work out which book this is an adaptation of. Is this of Heartstone or Revelation?
I think this is Dissolution.
Oh, I've not looked at that because you didn't clog up my Audible account with that book. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking now. I've got 3, which every time I see them, like, gets me a little bit angry.
Oh, no.
Revelation, Heartstone, and Lamentation.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's what happens when you don't cancel your Audible account, and you've got loads of spare things and you just want to use them. So you say, "Is there any books you want?" So, look, this looks fine, like, for what it is. I'm not going to watch it. I mean, I've seen 100 of these Tudor things, and I'm sure there's 100 more that you've seen and you haven't made me watch. But, like, Sean Bean's going to be good in this. Was one of the guys in this in something we've talked about quite recently?
Yes, only a few moments ago.
I was like, I recognise him, and I'm like, hang on, I recognise him from 2 minutes ago.
It's John Wilkes Booth. John Wilkes Booth
Yes.
is Shardlake's assistant in this. And I had watched the other way around. So I watched Shardlake first, and then Chris had sent me the trailer for Manhunt. I should actually say that Chris brought Shardlake to my attention as well. So thanks, Chris, for that. Now I can really bore Mark with all of these things. So yeah, I saw them the wrong way around, and I was like getting like really confused as well, thinking.
Can I point out?
What?
You say the wrong way around. It's just a different order. So the one that we've talked about them in.
Indeed. But that's the way my brain works. So yeah, I was like, who is that guy? Oh, it's the Shardlake guy. So yeah, it is him. Yeah, so having a great time at the moment, that young man.
So can I ask a question about these?
Yeah.
Did these come out before or after the multi-million selling Wolf Hall, Hilary Mantel books?
Oh, that's a really good question.
I think I've got a theory around it.
Do you? You know what? I genuinely don't know the answer to that now. It looked like the first book came out in 2003. So when did Wolf Hall come out? I should know this off by heart. Wolf Hall. Let's have a look.
2009.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Okay, yeah. I had a feeling it was round about the same time. Now, they're very different kettles of fish. Very different. Wolf Hall is very much near the seat of power. Yes, it's talking about Thomas Cromwell, but it's going into, his family life, his childhood, and you're very much with the king and Anne Boleyn and all the others at that point. This is not, Shardlake is might see the king walking past or might be near him, his company, but it's not around that. It's really more to do with the murder mystery, which is the bit that I enjoy in the books, is not really knowing who did it or trying to work out.
When you subscribe to Disney Plus for is it this one that's on Disney Plus?
Yes, it is. So Shardlake's on Disney Plus, coming soon. I can't find a date for it.
I'll watch Echo.
Saying, you're going to watch Echo.
Yes.
And I will watch Shardlake.
Because as regular listeners will know, we cancelled Disney Plus before Christmas.
And I went over to you, didn't I? And I was like, could we have it back? Could we have it back?
We're going to have to resubscribe. I was like, yes, that was always the plan.
There's a Tudor murder mystery coming out. The one thing before we go is what I'm really happy about is that, as I say, Shardlake is a disabled character. and they have a disabled actor playing Shardlake. I am so happy. I was so worried that they were either going to downplay the disability, or they were going to have a non-disabled actor playing a disabled role. So I'm just really pleased that that has happened, because I think a few moons ago that might not have been the case. And the guy who plays him, whose name escapes me, that's awful, isn't it? Because I just had him right there. I'm trying to think of the guy from John Wilkes Booth, but it's not him that I'm looking for. His name is Arthur Hughes. I have looked him up. He played Richard III, and so was really, really fantastic reviews for Richard III. So I'm just really pleased that you've got that pedigree of RSC and all of that going on, and now he's going to find an audience on Disney Plus.
You say find an audience. It did take us a long time to find it on Disney YouTube.
The trailer, I know. Yeah, it's really difficult to find the trailer, but
Bodes well.
Yeah, on YouTube. But you can Google it and you can see it. I know Mark won't be Googling it anymore, and probably won't let me do any more trailer talks.
I'll pick them next time.
Yeah, I think that's right. What would you have? Romantic comedies, things set in High School Musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be it, wouldn't it?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's coming out on TV this year that's like
what, that you would like rather than me.
Yeah, Saved by the Bell of College Years.
That's what I'm thinking.
California Dreams.
Still
Two guys, a girl, and a pizza place.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Those would be the trailers we would be watching.
Bring back Trouble. That's all I say. I want Hang Time. Anyway, this has been fun.
Yeah, that's been a lovely little interlude between our last proper episode and our next proper episode. We will be catching up with films and TV and coming back with a main show at some point to talk to you about what we think of those. Probably have Mark going, no, when I say something again, which would be nice.
Depends what you're watching.
Yeah, okay, we'll see.
Depends if you make me sit through 3 trailers of things I'm never going to pay any attention to.
Yeah, that might not happen again.
Yeah, okay. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at The Honeymoon Pod. And if you'd like to leave us a review, that'd be much appreciated. You can do so anywhere you get this podcast normally.
Leave a review saying you want more Tudor shows. Bye.
Bye.